All right, thank you. Glad to be here with you. Just to go over a little bit of our Florida variety test results for 2018. We have 3 releases I'd like to look at: the Tough Runner 511, Tough Runner 297, and Flow Run 331, which is our newest release. The 511 has been out the longest. It's a large seated runner, high oleic, very good yield potential in our Florida test, similar to Georgia 06G. Also has shown very good grades. Diseases, it is moderately resistant to white mold, has shown good results in our tests there. It is susceptible to leaf spot, more similar to the 13M that Dr. Branch mentioned, as well as Georgia 09B, and moderately resistant to TSWV. The 297 is also a large seated runner, medium maturity as is 511. Yield potential has been very, very good in our tests in Georgia, Florida, and other states as well. Grades have been good. It is moderately resistant to white mold, has good spotted wilt resistance as well, better than the 511. It is leaf spot susceptible, so again, we need a good fungicide program for that variety. The 331, our latest release, is more of a medium-sized seed. It is medium maturity as well. Yield potential has been excellent in Florida, and the grades have been good as well. It has shown the best resistance of these 3 lines to both white mold and leaf spot, and is moderately resistant to spotted wilt. Let's look at a little bit of the results. These are our statewide variety tests from the University of Florida over the past 2 years in 4 locations. You can see that 331 was the highest yielding on average. So what we have here is the yield in non-irrigated is the orange bar. The blue bar in the middle is irrigated, and the average yield. You can see it's done quite well in both irrigated and non-irrigated conditions, as has the 297 and 511 varieties there you see. I'm going to highlight the non-irrigated yields because it is the only variety that was statistically higher yielding in non-irrigated situations across 3 of our locations in the Gainesville area, in West Florida, in the J area, and in Mariana. Those 3 areas, it was about 500 pounds per acre higher yielding on average in dryland. So this looks very good from that standpoint for those growers who are growing in non-irrigated areas. Of course, you'd be more interested in the University of Georgia data. For the 3-year period from 2015 to 2017, the 297 on average in the 3 locations where it's grown in Midville, Tifton, and Plains had the highest yield rank, but very similar to Georgia 06G, Georgia 13M, and Georgia 16HO in both irrigated and non-irrigated conditions here in Georgia. Similar. Sorry about that. Is that better? Okay, and then in Mississippi, the 3-year period here, the Tough Runner 297 and 511 did very well in those tests in Mississippi, similar to the Georgia 06G and 12Y, and very good grades there. Let's look at a little bit of disease resistance. This is the Peanut RX chart. You see that, so I'd encourage you to go find that and take a look at it. This is a good summary of the disease resistance that we collaboratively come up with from several universities throughout the Southeast. And you can see where 331 is there and 297 and 511 at the bottom. This is some data from Dr. Brenneman from 2016 here in Georgia, where he's looking at spotted wilt, leaf spot, white mold, and how these varieties yield under those kind of disease conditions. And you can see the 331, the Tiffin v. Howell, Georgia 12Y were in the top 3 there, and you see where 297 and 511 ranked in terms of the yield potential in 2016. And similar in 2017, those same 3 varieties among the cultivars that were tested were the highest yielding in those conditions where these diseases are allowed to continue and to be problematic. We see similar results in our white mold test at the University of Florida. This is 2 years of data where we actually apply the pathogen to the plots. That's the yield in the orange bar here, and then where we don't apply the pathogen. And basically we see that these varieties, 331 and 12Y, as well as the past couple of years, Tiffin v. Howell, have done really well in their reaction to white mold, and where this disease is severe, they still tend to yield pretty well compared to some of the other varieties. And you see the Peanut RX points there. They do mean something. The lower those points are, the less risk for yield loss in these varieties. The same for our leaf spot test. You see here we spray the test. None is the orange. That's the yield when we didn't spray for leaf spot all year long. The bar in the middle, the yellow, is where we sprayed 4 times, and the blue bar is where we sprayed 8 times in the season. So just to kind of give our gradation of disease in these plots, and we see that 12Y TIFF-MV Howell and 331 do very well in those situations. This is ranked by their yield when there is no fungicide applied. But it doesn't take much fungicide with those varieties just to see those yields really jump up. Just 4 sprays really almost maximizes yield potential in those varieties. So very good tolerance to leaf spot there. As compared to these more susceptible down here, the 511, 13M, and 297, they do yield well when you spray them, but certainly they need to be in low-risk situations and sprayed well. With that, I'll invite you to our field day August 23rd of this year, and if there are any questions, be glad to try and answer them.